So it's 2 p.m. and I guess everyone is here and we are good to go. So a very good afternoon to everyone. I'm Yao Sheng from KLWKND. Welcome back to the second day of Bicara Bamboo Forum, and thank you for joining this live session. Today in Bicara Bamboo, we have with us an amazing panel of architecture experts coming in from different parts of the world, joining us to talk about the bamboo in architecture today and discover its possibilities for the future. So without further ado, I would like to pass on to the moderator, Mr. Eugene Low, an international architect with over 30 years of experience, including many years in bamboo design, building, and teaching. Mr. Eugene, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yao Sheng. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this talk. I was asked by Joe and David of Joe CDEC Productions to curate a talk, to put together a talk with some big bamboo people. This was for the event, which is happening now. I think today is the last day. And I've managed to put together this panel of 4 speakers, which I think will be interesting. And we really are excited to have them ready to speak to you. Bamboo is re-emerging and re-emerging fast. As a material that was, let's say, our grandfathers, when they perceive it as a material that rots, that doesn't really last. And I think from the 80s, 90s onwards to the year 2000, it changed quite a bit when ways to treat bamboo were discovered, better ways, and bamboo then could last. If you could design it properly and build it properly, it started to last. And also the inertia for bamboo started rising. All the way from 2000 to 2020, you have clusters and centers of bamboo developing. In South America with Simon Velez, in India with many areas, also in Southeast Asia as well, too many to mention. But today we are going to concentrate more on what's going to happen from 2020 onwards, moving for the next 20 years, right? The bamboo world is very exciting now, and if you are a bamboo practitioner or a bamboo enthusiast, or you're still new finding out about bamboo, you will notice in your feed that there are a lot of bamboo buildings coming up, and there's a lot of things that are related to bamboo that are really coming up in your feed. This is because, as I said, the inertia is there, and there is a resurrection of bamboo, and it is emerging. These panel of speakers are established practitioners of bamboo, and they are friends and also colleagues in bamboo. The bamboo world is still very small, and it is going to grow. And these are the people I feel are already making bamboo, giving bamboo a good name and making bamboo rise. They will continue to do so. And I think I'm really excited to see what they have in store for you. What I've done is to request for them to speak particularly on one of their buildings that I've picked, and also to give you some idea of how they feel that bamboo architecture, how it's going to move into the future from here. So I think without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first speaker, Widi Nugroho. Widi, I met while we were both working in Ibuku in 2015. I think I met him. Widi graduated from Duta Wacana Christian University in 2005, and he then started working with Eco Pro Bono, and from Eco he went on to join Ibuku Bali, and that's where we met until 2016. And Widi then went on to found Studio WNA. Since 2016, his practice has really taken a steep climb. They've been producing many buildings, quite a few in Bali and some overseas as well. And I'm going to now introduce you to Widi. Welcome, Widi. The floor is yours.
Hi, Eugene. Thank you very much for the introductions. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I would like to introduce myself and my studio. So yeah, I think it's better that I share my screens. Can I join the screen, the share screen?
Okay, hang on, VD. I'm just trying to
Okay.
get Yao Sheng to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe while we are waiting, you can tell us a bit more about your practice and the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, our studio is in Bali, in Denpasar, and yeah, we are bamboo specialists, architects in Bali. We have a good team here with bamboo interior architect, bamboo and interior architects, and bamboo architect also in our design teams. And yeah, many of our projects are beach clubs, wedding couples, villa, glamping, restaurant, and boutique resorts. So it's more hospitality projects, and we have project in Indonesia, China, Malaysia, Thailand, and in India. So yeah, our studio is a small studio, but we have some good project. And today, I would like to share you about one of my projects. Here, we call it a Nansa Exhibition House. It's an Indonesian exhibition center for culture, tourism, and commerce in Guangzhou, China. So this place is for showroom for craft, furniture, painting from Indonesia, especially from Bali. So yeah, I will start to show you it is the master plan of Nansa Bird Park. So basically the site is in bird park. You can see there are some small islands, lagoons here, and my building is here in here. If you can see my cursor, and yeah, the building is quite big. It's around 800 square meter, and just finished last year. And in this bird park, there are a lot of birds from around the world that they stay here, and yeah, and there are a lot of people coming to see the birds here. So you can see this, the locations, the site with many birds. So the design idea is come from bird itself. So I'm thinking about how to represent the building and the site and the bird park in the same times. So I'm thinking about the bird itself. So the design idea is transforming from two birds that's hugging each other, and these two birds symbolize the good relationship between Indonesia and China, because the furniture, the craft come from Indonesia but show in China. So I'm thinking these two birds become one to be one, and one unique building shape. So you can see the transformation of the design idea. And it is the initial design sketch form. So we try to to start with the sketch. So we can see how big is it, the building, how many stairs, something like that. And it is the rendering sketch mode. So you can see it is the hugging birds to be building design. And in this sketch, you can see the staircase directly into the second floor. And yeah, we made some sketches to see the quality space around the buildings. And basically the building is beside the lagoon, so very close with the water. But we have enough distance from the water and the buildings. Yeah, so it is the floor plans, and the idea is come from 2 eggs on the nest. So you can see these 2 eggs, and you can see the column, the white columns here, the clumps. It is the tower in the middle of the buildings. And we use sand floor at the first floor, and it is the main entrance, and it is the staircase around the tower. And it is the second floor. So the main entrance into the second floor, directly into the second floor. And you can see the furniture layout here. It is the tower in the middle with the staircase around it, and it is the balcony, and you can see the furniture layout with the floor patterns on it. This is the third floor. The access is from the stair. This one, and it is the bird nest on the top. Yeah, so it is the sections. So you can see how big it is, the building. So the top of the floor is about 21.5 meter, and you can see this the staircase into the second floor, and in the middle is the tower. So at this area, the staircase is outside the tower, and at this area, the staircase inside the tower. So you can see the human scale here. And the foundation, also you can see we use a bore pile for the foundation. And it's the models. Yeah, we need this model because it's easy way to for the contractor to build the building, because it's difficult to them to see the working drawing, especially with this organic shape of the buildings. So the best way is to make scale bamboo models, so they can see the buildings, the models in 3D, not in 2D like a conventional working drawing. This is the different angle. We have skylight here, and we have jack roof. Yeah, we have a structural analysis also, and in our design team we have bamboo civil engineer specialist bamboo. So he calculate all the wind load, earthquake, and also the building load itself. This building is designed to withstand wind of 120 kilometers per hour. So yeah, it's quite quite strong structure. Yeah, you can see this the clamp of the columns, and all the column is leaning, not straight like a conventional building. And also you can see this the scale of the humans is looks small. Yeah, it is the foundations on site. So you can see it is the tower of the foundation tower in the middle, and it is the floor foundation. It's look very organic, and it is the construction process. Yeah, I think the construction process is a very interesting part, and I would like to show you how this building start from the first until finish. So they start from installing the split beam here, and after that the columns. Usually in conventional building we make column first, and after that beam. But in bamboo construction we use a split beam first, and after that we install the columns. So this is the column, and this is the split beam. It's a double beam. Yeah, it's continue columns. This is the worker installing the roof support beam. Yeah, you can see this building is very high, 21.5. So yeah, and at this point is around 7 meters from the ground. So you can imagine how tall this building is, and there is no special tools to erect these buildings, just manual, one by one. So, and yeah, you can see this the backbone of the bird, this, and these half structures. So that you can see that the tower in the middle start to construct, and we use a black bamboo structure in this tower. And yeah, it is the top of the roof. This point is 21.5 meters. And yeah, it is the bird's head. And we have a double roof because we try to reduce the wind load when the wind flow into these buildings. So the jack roof is our design to reduce the wind load. Yeah, it start for the roof. We use a bamboo roof, and this is the roof rafter structure when complete to install. So you can see around this building. This when the bamboo roof complete with a skylight. This inside the buildings. Bamboo skilled workers start to install the roof finish, cover, and the skylight. You can see.
5 minutes, Widi. Thanks.
Okay, it is the finished constructions. Yeah, it's the different side of the buildings. This is the bird view. It's the top, so we can see the shape of two birds with one head on the top. Yeah, it is the entrance into the second floor. And you can see this, the staircase around the tower. Yeah, this is the difference between daylight and late afternoons. We played it with the simple lightings for these buildings. Yeah, big roof, because we need to cover all the bamboo structure from direct sunlight, the rain splash, and to reduce also humidity. Use a sun floor here at the ground floor. This is the inside of the buildings. It's the jack roof, the tower in the middle. This floor design motif with a black bamboo inside. That is in the night with the full moon. Yeah, talking about the future of bamboo architecture, I think there are some notes from me. It's easy to use and low tech for the remote area. I mean, the bamboo architecture no need special tools, can be used in remote place or in situation of natural disaster. I mean, in South Asia context, because there are a lot of natural disaster in South Asia, and I think bamboo can help us to build our new environment after the natural disaster. Or it can be high tech with new design system, can be mixed material with other industrial material like concrete, steel, reclaimed wood, or yeah, any other materials. And also the durability. Good bamboo preservation system that is more economical, inexpensive, and easy to buy. Because sometimes the boric acid treatment is quite difficult to get. Yeah, I hope we can get it more easy. Maybe there will be a discovery about the bamboo coating being resistant to the rain, direct sunlight, and also for the termite. And bamboo building need easy to maintain with a simple design with emphasis on function and smart design bamboo buildings. The building can be mass products everywhere and affordable. To reduce the building costs, we can mix material, like I said. We can use local material, bamboo locals. If you have a garden, maybe you can build your own house. And yeah, also the social and environment aspect must be able to provide good social aspect of a sustainable environment, and also give a good image that bamboo building is strong, environment friendly, affordable, and beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Eugene.
Thank you, Vidi.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
If you can stop sharing your screen, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I'm stopping. Sorry.
That's okay, no problem. We are not in a hurry. We have got all the speakers. I think we have Jamie online as well, waiting. We have Markus and Mauricio as well. So
Yeah.
that's good. You cannot unshare, yeah?
I don't know how. I mean, I have problem with this.
Okay, I think I'll see if Yao Sheng can do that. Yao Sheng, can you
Can you
unshare?
help me? Yeah.
While we are waiting for that, it's good really to see a building and quite a big building. It's 5 stories, yeah, 4 to 5 stories. And Vidi and his team from Bali managed to build this in Guangzhou, in a bird park. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. Put that in the chat. For the audience, please put that in the chat and we'll filter that as we go through the 4 speakers and try and answer your questions. Vidi, there should be a stop share on your.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. It's okay. Yeah, if you can do that, and then we'll move on. Sudah.
Already. Can you see me?
On the top of the screen somewhere. Yeah, I still see you. Okay, you have stopped. Yeah, now okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I will now introduce the next speaker. So the next speaker is Markus. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. Markus actually is a medical doctor by profession. And I met Markus at the Panyadan International School in Chiang Mai. Markus has been developing the school. He's a co-founder of the school, and he's developed this little cluster. I wouldn't say little now, it's growing more and more. Markus and his team have got a very unique story. If you are aware of Green School, Bali, Markus's story is similar, parallel, but very different in his own way. He's got quite a bit to share. I went to visit his building, his Panyadan sports hall, a beautiful building, and I hope that he will share with you on that. He works with a particular kind of bamboo, and he works with particular kind of workers. His story is unique, and for a non-designer or non-architect, if you like, for a doctor, I'm sure you'll be interested to hear from him and his story. On to you, Markus.
Thank you very much, Eugene, for your kind introduction. It's an honor to be here with all these famous architects. Let me go to the, oops, where's share screen? Okay. So a beautiful presentation from Vidi. Thank you very much. Very impressive indeed. We are on a very different spot in many ways, and our story is a little bit different. So here it goes. My company is called Chiangmai Life Architects, and we're actually a very small design studio. It's me and my junior architect, Samad, whom you see here, a very, very talented and hardworking guy. And we have now a 7-8 year long journey together, which was great fun and quite successful for, as you heard myself, not even being a learned architect, just learned by life and by interest. And we have this small architect studio, and at the same time, we have a construction company of about 60 workers. most of them hill tribes, or they had to flee the Burmese military and came to Thailand, and then they came to work for us, and we've all been together since. And for this project, so here is Samad in the back, and in the front, the third guy who needs some real credit, because without him, it wouldn't have been possible. A young engineer, Phu Nguyen, Dutch Vietnamese engineer, came to us and for over a year found all the information specifically to our bamboo that was necessary to build this structure. And the place that what I'm going to present you today is the Bamboo Sports Hall at Banyaden International School. So it started with this, that was in 2016. The school came to us and said, we need this indoor sports hall that can accommodate basketball, futsal, volleyball, badminton, all kinds of things. And also, you know, it would be our assembly hall, so we need a stage. And we need balconies to view sports competitions. And so the question is how to create the width and the height. At that time, in 2016, we went around and looked all around the world, what we can see, what others have done. For us, it always starts with function, you know, very, very conservative way to look at architecture. Function comes always first. And for us, science is an important aspect. I'm a doctor of natural science, is in my blood. So usually at that time, big buildings were made with big bamboo poles. And as you can see on the left, if you see my cursor, what happens with big bamboo poles is if the wind hits up here, the force of the wind is leveraged down to the connection here. So the actual strength of the bamboo pole becomes secondary to the connection. And at that time, most connections, I mean, Simon Velez started all this, and you know, you start somewhere and then you develop. Most connections were made by infusing concrete and using steel, and they would look something like this. And we started the same way when we built our first buildings. But for me, I saw very soon what happens after some time is, you know, because the concrete and the bamboo have different thermal characteristics, the bamboo will crack. You know, so you see here, here's the infusion of the concrete, and then you need the steel bandages to hold it together. And we've seen this not with ours, this is not our project, but we went around and looked at other projects. How would they solve the problem? We saw basically the same happening there. Whenever you do this kind of connections, the bamboo will crack, and after some time, it will look something like this. And so for me, aesthetically and also from a structural point of view, this was rather unsatisfying. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you cannot build with big bamboo, and all those people who build them, sure, they have developed other things, they go further, but my way of looking at things is just different. Also because I am not so much a square guy. I don't really like little boxes and square designs. And I was sitting in this blues concert one day with great music, but a terrible acoustic. So I looked up and I saw that building was made with steel trusses and had a metal sheet roof. That's why the acoustic was so bad. But when I saw this, I thought, that's a way maybe we could go. So I asked my structural engineer, what do you think? And he said, yes. I mean, that the main question here are these round beams. How are we going to do these beams to make this really strong and withstand all the shear forces? So we came up with these bundles. We bundle bamboo, and then we connected with bamboo dowels in all kinds of different directions. And we have this kind of bamboo here in Thailand that has a very small hole and is mainly built of fibers. So bamboo, as you know, comes in two different kinds of forms. One is a tube with a big hole, and the advantage of a tube is like any tube, you know, it's hard to break, it's hard to bend, And but it's a very strong form. That's why most steel structures are made with tube, in kind of a tube form. And if it's full like this, it becomes more like a rod. It's more bendable, but the tensile strength, of course, is much, much higher. So coming back here, what we do with these bundles is that we connect these bundles at different spots. As you can see, one stops here, one stops here or here. And then we connect them along the whole length of the bamboo pole. So like this, we get around the problem of the connection where all the force is only in the end part. Because with the big poles also, you know, the end part is a thin bamboo wall that can split longitudinally very easily because the fibers run longitudinally. But if you connect them the whole way, then the force is distributed on the poles themselves, on the length of the poles themselves the whole way. And we use bamboo dowels because the bamboo and bamboo, they expand and contract exactly the same. So there is no splitting of the original structure. So the idea was to also develop a system where this can be done not directly in the building, but also like there's some work that can be done before. So we had our structural engineer calculate these engineered prefabricated bundle trusses. And the advantage of having engineers is cannot be overstated. Because he, for example, when we then asked, you know, if we have a 17-meter span and we want to use this kind of bamboo with a 5 centimeter diameters, how many of these pieces do we need? And then he would sit down, calculate, come back and say 10. You know, not 11, 15, 6, and 10. And on the upper part, how many? 12. And that's when the whole thing started, when we really realized what we were onto, because suddenly everything became understandable, reproducible, and explainable to everyone. And as Vidi also said, of course, he had to take into calculation wind forces, earthquakes, the load of the building, and all that. And once we knew it was workable, we started looking at, you know, how do we put these trusses together? What kind of trusses, the size of the trusses, and then how to put the roof on top of these trusses. Also always thinking here's the human scale that we would need these balconies on the side. And because this was a huge leap of faith taken by the school and by us into a construction method that hasn't been done before, and we also didn't do it, so we engaged another engineer to recalculate and look at this again, Esteban Morales Montoya from Colombia, who has done a lot of work for Simon Velez, a very experienced engineer with bamboo, just to make sure that we have two different opinions. And he then came up with this, for example, with this wind force simulation to show the displacement, the maximum displacement that can happen and all these things. So we had a lot of data in the end that showed that what we were up to was most likely going to work. And then the design process could start. And we like to design organic forms. We like to use nature as a guideline. And because it is a Buddhist school and the lotus flower plays a big role in explaining things in Buddhism, we use that as a starting point. And we put it on the side, and then we put the flowers, the leaf flowers, back into space to come up with the shape of our building. And then we put this into the computer and looked how this will flow on top of the building. And here you can see the outcome compared to the initial thought. We were getting pretty close. Also, we wanted natural ventilation because it can get very hot here. Chiang Mai gets very hot in the summer, up to 45 degrees, and cold in the winter, 5 to 8 degrees. So here for the summertime, we needed ventilation, then natural light. Here, the artificial light is all turned off. All the light that you see coming in is from outside. We were also thinking about putting in some light spots or so, but it was not necessary. Then, of course, like Vidi said, you need to make a model. There's really no way around the model. It will explain everything to us ourselves better. You can find the weaknesses, and ultimately for construction, the 3D view of what you're going to do is very important. And in the model, then we could also explore more the human scale and see how this was going to work out in real life later. So with the construction, we first produced all the trusses on site. And we use bamboo dowels, sometimes bigger dowels, and then these bigger dowels would be locked into place with some smaller dowels here. And sometimes we had to use some steel cables where the force would bring the trusses apart very strongly. And then cranes, and while we started doing our first crane thing, we realized that the trusses would bend a lot, so we had to reinforce the trusses just for transportation. Then they would be lifted. We prepared structures to hold them on place before we could connect them. And while we were putting in, we connected all the trusses longitudinally to hold them in the place. And then once it was done, there was a lot of bamboo going around. When the structure was finished, then we could start putting in our flowing roof forms and see how this would come together. So this is the base structure for the roof. And here's the outcome. As you can see, it is used as assembly hall. In the middle is a sports floor that is also made from recycled tires, little rubber balls, then with a finishing on top that gives it the same color as the rest. So everything is we always look at being as sustainable as possible. In the back, you see the stage. The stage can be lifted up, so there is a safer environment if sports are being played. And here you can see the height of the building. It's, I think, about 17, 18 meters height. The whole building has about, I think, over 900 square meters floor plan. Here are the stairs going up to the balconies where you can watch from up there. Here in the back, you see one of those balconies, and then you see here the opening space between the first and second roof layer is quite big. It's over 2 meters. So in the beginning, we were not sure how this was going to play out with strong windy rains, and many people were worried. But if you look at this picture, interestingly, this is after the rain. So you see the roof is wet, but you can see here how this part where they overlap is all completely dry. And even with strong winds and rain, it comes in a little bit, but has never gotten wet inside. This is an interesting observation that we made, that if you make organic designed roofs, the wind will come and roll along with the round forms. If you make a flat square roof, the wind will either push it down or lift it up. But like with the wing of an airplane, here the wind will just flow around with the design that we made. That made it also safer for the strong winds. Our problem here is not typhoons, but every year we have a season where very fast, very short winds run through the country, uproot many huge trees and take down the tiles of many houses. But with these roofs, the way we do them, they become like a skin, and you can't take off one little tile anymore. So the whole thing works together to stabilize itself.
5 minutes, Markus, thanks.
Okay, so here's the backside. Another design feature that's important for us is that we put things into the landscape and not impose them on the landscape. Here is another photo from the top. the whole school has grown, as Eugene said, quite big. And you see the hall has actually become one of the smaller buildings now. And then you need a very good photographer. This credit goes to Alberto Cossi to make other people really understand what you've done. So for the bamboo, our current solution, our current situation, quick overview. The problem is the image, as we all know, that bamboo image is bamboo non-lasting and a poor material. That results in legislation that doesn't really allow bamboo to do bigger things. And that also results still in a lack of infrastructure. So going forward, for us, a big thing, very important, because we like to do bigger things, is structural engineering. Without engineers, I think we won't have this expansion of bamboo that we see right now. The second thing that will be very necessary is material engineering, to look at different aspects of the bamboo, like fireproofing. How can we make it so that legislation has an easier eye on us, but also coatings, and so to make it more resistant against wind and rain. Then we need many different visions, like all the different architects that are presenting today go different paths, because it's still small and we have to expand in as many ways as we can. Then we have to be sure there's enough locally produced bamboo. I think Malaysia goes a big step by the government helping to plant a lot of bamboo. In Thailand, we lack in that. And then we have to reach out to existing businesses to connect it to other kinds of things that we cannot even think of right now. Our path, ourselves, we like to combine and connect things. We like to combine science and art. We like to combine, as I said, natural materials with state-of-the-art engineering. Why am I so hot on engineering? Is that everybody understands and believes that engineering is something we can trust. If we can take the guesswork out of things, if we can make bamboo more understandable and trustworthy because some expert will say, oh yes, that will work, then I think we break a barrier where bamboo comes out of the hippie age into the normal life of many people. And important also is in the design part, we like organic design, but we still have to create a contemporary space feeling. Like with the room that you see in the back, our science room, we have the most advanced equipment there, but it's in an earth and bamboo building. This is the kind of combination where we think people can understand and like it and see it works. And going into the future, we do hope that we will see bamboo being part of the skyline, bigger buildings. We think bamboo has a huge potential, and it will add interest and sustainability, hopefully also to city developments. Thank you very much. Thanks, Eugene. And I would also like to thank you to the organizers to invite me to this great forum.
Thank you, Markus. That was very enlightening, very encouraging as well. I hope the audience enjoyed that. Yeah, bamboo has a long way to go. It is the new kid on the block, and you can see from the way Markus is presenting it that it has a future, but the future has to be almost curated, or almost like a group effort by everyone involved in the bamboo world to bring it forward so that it doesn't falter. It's got to go forward in the right way, and the name of bamboo has to keep rising.
Thank you very much.
We are moving. So, thank you, Markus, and I'm sure we will want to hear from you as well later in question time, together with Weedy. Markus came from us in Chiang Mai. Weedy spoke in Bali, and the next speaker is Mauricio Cardenas, and he's coming from us from Milan. Mauricio Cardenas Laverde is an architect, and he has worked with Renzo Piano, the well-known practice, for 5 years in Paris, and he was involved in buildings like the Shard. Some architects here will know the Shard, and of course the Pompidou Center. The Shard is in London, the Pompidou Center is in Paris. he has been involved with INBA as well for several years now with their work, and has also built a bamboo pavilion in the Milan Design Fair. Without further ado, I'm going to welcome Mauricio, and he's going to talk to us about his building in China. Off you go, Mauricio.
Thank you, Eugene. Thank you very much for getting me involved in this very interesting talk. I'm very impressed about the presentations of Weedy and Markus. We all have different points of view, but also many common things, which is very interesting that you put us all together. Thank you for the organization as well, for this invitation. I'm very happy. My first time to do a presentation in Kuala Lumpur, even though I'm not physically there. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, all good.
And the sound is good, okay?
Yes.
Lovely. Okay, so I actually, Eugene, I have to tell you that the title is very nice. It's very good, bamboo architecture today into the future, because that's probably what we are all living at this right moment, right? We're all bamboo architects thinking what's the future for our passion, our work. So I will start with what's the impact of architecture on the environment. One of the several sources, official sources, is the Encyclopedia Britannica. And as you can see, we architects have a very important responsibility when it comes to the impact in the natural environment. I live in a city. Probably I'm the only architect talking today that lives in the urban environment. And so I really, I probably live in my own skin what is the impact of architecture as we know it today in the environment, right? It is estimated as the Encyclopedia Britannica says, that the buildings in the early 21st century, so in these first 20 years of this century, that 16% of the planet's total fresh water resources are used for the building industry, for construction. 30 to 40% of all energy supplies are used for construction, and 50% by weight of all of the raw materials withdrawn from the Earth's surface are used for construction. So this is something that architects, we should be very aware of. It's not just a problem of construction companies or engineers. And the waste of the landfills, 40 to 50% is attributed to architecture. And architecture accounts for 20 to 30% of the greenhouse gas emissions. This is to tell you how important it is to think about construction, about building. Now architects is not just a matter of making beautiful designs. We see that all our cities are always looking most similar one to the other. Shanghai looks like Milano, Milano looks like Kuala Lumpur like Bogota like New York, you know. And so the future of bamboo, and why bamboo? Because it's a strategical natural resource that is contributing directly, just as a plant, just planting it. The plant itself is contributing directly to at least 6 of the Sustainable Development Goals adopted by United Nations. So it is absolutely the material of the present and of the future. The philosophy of my office is conscious design. That's the name of my office, of my studio here in Milan. And we believe that consciousness, awareness, is rather than sustainability, is the attitude with which to face the creative process of design. Because sustainability, sustainable is a word that is being used everywhere, like bio, green. Anything can be just called like that, even if it's not really like that. But consciousness, being conscious about something is a word, a meaning that is more difficult just to play with it, to lie with it, you know. So I consider that energy saving through technology in the context of environment crisis is not enough. My office commitment is not to leave the important responsibility of climate change mitigation solely to technology. Conscious design is based on the use of tangible and intangible natural materials. That means including natural light, sun heat, the natural ventilation, and of course, plants. As we focus on the processes and application of natural materials for construction, that's going back to architecture that is not just thinking on the design, but thinking in the construction process. In the first place, we like bamboo, we use bamboo because we believe that it's the product of nature that best integrates the values of ecology, community, nutrition, and beauty. So I'm basically already during my presentation, I'm talking about the future of bamboo. I think it's a conclusion. I started with a conclusion as I feel is really important. That's a view of my office with 15 years working directly with bamboo. We've been experimenting, doing research, finding practical solutions for construction systems. We're really keen about construction systems because, as I mentioned, we tackle the problem of sustainability with conscious design. That means taking into account that the most harm we make to the environment is during the construction process. Even if the building is very sustainable during the life cycle, is not enough. My experience in the bamboo culture, I'm as Eugene mentioned, I'm part of BIMBAR. I'll explain you a little later. We've been jury member in bamboo construction competitions and the bamboo congresses in Ecuador, Beijing, etc. I've been part of the key lecturers, and I teach. I dedicate time for teaching, as it's very important to grow the bamboo community. Last year, I'm the first Italian design ambassador working with bamboo, and I'm have been for 2 years, 2019 and 2020, curator of the largest bamboo labyrinth in the world, which is actually here in Italy, near Parma. I wrote the first bamboo construction manual in Italian back in 2008, and wrote articles before that about vegetable steel, as Simon Vélez called this amazing material a long time ago. And the Renzo Piano book, the Almanac of the Architect, he offered me the opportunity to write a chapter about environmental comfort, which is basically not specifically about bamboo, but about the use of natural materials, intangible, more specifically intangible materials. This introduction is to then, it will be very helpful for me to explain you the project Eugene kindly chose for me to present to you. INBAR is the International Organization for Bamboo and Rattan. I'm part of the construction task force since 2017. We work on the codes, we work on design, we work on solutions, all kind of 360-degree finding solutions for the various problems in the environment around the world. And the project selected by Eugene is INBAR, is the International Bamboo and Rattan Organization Pavilion at the 2019 Horticultural Expo. I have to tell you that this was born as a pavilion, but already from the beginning we had the ambition of it to be a permanent building, and it is now a permanent building. So it was designed already to be a permanent building, even though the budget was not that high for a permanent building, but that was part of the challenge. So it's called the Bamboo Eye. We'll see later why it has the form of the eye. Is the largest bamboo structure in the north of China. It's 32-meter span. the idea, I was very inspired with this Argentinian Italian artist, Lucio Fontana, who innovated instead of painting on the cloth. I don't know how to call the painting white material, the paper, let's say. Lucio, he cut it, and with this very simple action, he innovated and he created something very, very special and very emotional. So I wanted to try to innovate with this project, not only in terms of construction system and in bamboo architecture, but also from the conceptual point of view. Not a pavilion and not a garden, which means an object that it's just placed on the garden, but that becomes part of it. And these cuts helped me to achieve this. So it's a building that actually becomes part of the place. It's not only a bamboo structure, but also it's a contemporary architecture. It's the architecture I envision that will come into the cities, because it's the cities where we have more, it's in the cities where we create big environmental problems. And it's the place where my office designs from designs from. So as you can see, the pavilion integrates in the ground, and the process of design is very it's architectonical, right? We do sketches, we do modeling, very creative. As you can see, this little model was a concept model, but this model traveled back to Beijing to present the project. It was a private competition, which luckily we happily won, and these sketches were my first sketches. Already had talk about what the building was going to become. So we into natural light, a building that used natural light from all of the day, and natural ventilation, has no air conditioning, based on form, proportions, and the use of materials. As you can see in these sections, also the use of, we don't use concrete, not in the connections, but not on the roof. The roof is soil, is earth. Here you can see images of the building finished, and you can see that the different size of the arches help us for the natural ventilation strategy, and the consistency and coherence from the concept to the construction, right? So renders is something that I always suffer with. We have to do it because clients ask us for it, but actually we renders we try to avoid as much as possible, but actually when we do them, we do them as conscious as possible in order to represent the real product we want to offer and to achieve. And this is what happened with this project. Being consistent and coherence doesn't mean to be stubborn. We accepted the changes, we did the changes, we actually the changes during the design process with the engineers and with the client were all included, but the concept was always there. The spirit of the project was over there. This is the meetings with the client. As you can see, I'm the only foreigner in the Chinese context. So the model was very important to discuss about the project. And also during the construction process, the model was very important to be able to communicate. It's a way of communicating. We communicate with, it overcomes every language barrier. And you can see that we didn't use concrete in the slab. There's no concrete slab. The concrete is only in the base of the arches. The process of working with bamboo is so beautiful, because instead of being inside of a concrete construction, humid, cold, gray, we are already in touch with nature from the very beginning. And the bending of the bamboo, of the large bamboos, we used large bamboo poles. We resolved with design the problem of connections. And you can see that these arches, even the part of the scaffolding and the stairs used by the construction experts company, we are made of bamboo. And during the construction process, as I was mentioning, it's already warm and welcoming, right? So sometimes I even wanted the construction to go slower because I really enjoyed walking and being in and watching the process of the construction. So the language, architectural language, we use in my office, we're keen of is a language which is clear, is clean, is looking forward to become part of the city of the cities in the world, right? Because the most beautiful bamboo architecture now is done in the rural areas, and we need to come into the city. To come into the city, as bamboo does, kind of infest in a positive way the cities. Bamboo is an infesting plant. It's not a tree, it's a plant. It's probably most of the public knows already, and so to infest the cities with its beauty and with its incredible possibilities of making large-scale architecture, small, medium, and large-scale architecture. We also used bamboo as a finishing material. Here you see for the false ceiling, it's this weaving. The weaving is traditional. We can see it in many places, even in Italy. This weaving for making baskets. In Colombia, from where I originally come from, we do all of these weavings. We make a lot of and in China, of course, I found this capability of making amazing weaving, and we just enlarge the scale of the weaving, and we achieve with this to control the natural light. So the natural light comes inside in a warmer way, and also in a controlled way, not so strong and direct, right? The proportions.
5 minutes, Mauricio.
Okay, thank you. So the proportions are that of the classical architecture that comes from ancient times, the Fibonacci proportions, and you can see the glass facade is a very important part of our architecture, looking forward to push bamboo architecture into the contemporary field, right? So the facade, it's an open glass facade, and it's called bamboo eye because of the reflection on the water. It was not a name. The name was given by the public, actually. I thought of it as the bamboo garden pavilion, but everybody started calling it the bamboo eye, and I thought it was much more beautiful and poetic, in fact. So the glass facade that I was mentioning to you is very important in our project. We design, today we're focusing on this project, but if you checked our designs, we design buildings that have facades that have they are completely closed, are not in the tropical environments. They also are designed for the weight of the snow and for for being in the four seasons environment, right? So here you can see that these glass facades are openable when necessary, so to allow the breeze to enter. Only the upper part of the facade is openable, so that the wind would not even would not bother the persons inside, or it can be directly over the heads where the warm air is at, and should be pushed out of the building. As you can see, the contrast between transparency and natural materials is amazing. Is very beautiful, and this building can actually be in any urban environment, and this is what my office is dedicating efforts to bring bamboo architecture into the cities, as I mentioned before. That's my vision for the future. That's what and you can see here the detailing. You can see the connections are reinforce the structure in order not to include concrete in the connections. We used engineered bamboo so that can hold the bolts without including concrete in the connections. Another views of the structure with this natural light, and the garden is also with bamboo plants. It represents the International Organization of Bamboo in Rattan. We do some 3Ds as well, of course, for communicating the project and for working and communicating the project. And here, as I mentioned you, the roof has no concrete, so it's the steel deck directly with earth, and the earth offers the project the weight, the necessary weight for the bamboo structure to move, to control the movement of the bamboo structure, because bamboo moves a lot and it should move. It's its nature, but we have just to control it. So the roof is a garden. It's not a roof actually, and this garden, the wet soil and the plants are a very important strategy, a very important natural material for the strategy of thermal control. This is the view from the top. You can see the skylights, you can see the garden. It's walkable, but during the expo, we control the amount of people not to ruin the garden, of course. Some views from the top and the connection with the earth. It's a building that takes from the earth, but gives back. So very fastly, it's a 54 meters wide and 40 meters long structure. The largest bamboo arches have a span of 32 meters with a height of 9 meters. The Fiarindel truss type of arches make the structure very light and strong. We use more than 5,000 Philostachys pubescens, is the species called moso, is very common. And the poles are from around 10 centimeters width, diameter, sorry, and 4 to 6 years of age. We applied a slow heating process to the bamboo poles. This process, and it's officially tested on the labs of the Chongqing University, and it's officially, the source is official from INBAR website. This treatment extends the useful lifespan of the bamboo to 30 years, because it makes protects the interior as well, and reinforce the exterior layer of the bamboo. See, this is the bamboo structure under the snow. As I mentioned you, we designed for 4 seasons, projects for the 4 seasons with neat performance facades, and well, here the last views of the project before concluding. And my conclusion, as I mentioned you, I included it, make it part of the presentation. So the future for the bamboo is making buildings that are more sustainable than the most sustainable buildings we see in the cities today, and that are more contemporary because they use natural materials during the construction process, or tackling the construction process, not only the life cycle of the building. This pavilion was the prize of the expo, and it's very, I mentioned this because they understood in the expo what was behind this project. It was the idea of innovative and ecological design, but it's not the design the most important thing for me, but it's the execution, the building process. The recognition is that what I really appreciate from this award. This is a view of our project since 2004. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and very happy to be here with you.
Thank you, Mauricio. Good presentation. I'm just waiting for travel to open again to visit your building, and also WEDI's building. I think these two are the ones I haven't visited. And also Jamie, I think when he come to speak, so much to see and to learn from you guys as well.
I agree. I would like to travel to and see all of your buildings very soon.
As Mauricio says, right, the bamboo world is still small. But then the proponents have got big hearts for bamboo, right? We are all very passionate and we want bamboo to grow, right? We want bamboo to succeed. We work in our own sphere, in our own sectors, and try to promote it outwards. And there's still a lot of work between all of us to come together and bring this wonderful material out there into the mainstream. I call it shooting bamboo into the mainstream. I think we all have to make the effort and get that going. Some of these buildings you see, in fact, all of them you see are actually pushing the boundaries. And for the next 20 years, this is what we're going to do, right? We have to pull it through, get people to accept, approve, and appreciate bamboo. Right? I think that would be great. So from Bali, we went to Chiang Mai, we went to Milan. Now we are going to, I think we are going to Mexico. Jamie, are you there? Are you in Mexico or are you in Colombia?
Hi, Eugene. How are you? And thanks a lot to stay here. I'm in Mexico right now, Eugene, in Tulum, in the Mayan jungle.
Very good, very good.
Good morning for us.
Good, good. I would like to introduce you. I met Jamie also in Bali. A lot of bamboo people I meet in Bali. I met him and Uma as well in Bali in Bamboo U. We were co-facilitating in Bamboo U. And Jamie is a director of Arquitectura Mixta, an up and coming architectural practice that is booming in South America. They've done a lot of work, a lot of interesting work. They have their own type of architecture. I wouldn't go much more, and you'll see from the building that Jamie is sharing their work and their ethos. On to you, Jamie.
Thank you, Eugene, and thanks for the invitation in these very interesting spaces. Congrats to the before speakers. I think I'm so glad to stay here, you know, with this level of bamboo architecture in the world. Let me know, please, if you can see my screen.
Yes, all good, Jamie.
Okay, perfect, guys. So I'm Jaime Peña. I'm from Colombia. I'm the founder and director creative of Arquitectura Mixta. Arquitectura Mixta is more than architecture study. It's a family, it's a community where we want to make a proposal to how it's better to build, design and build in this planet, you know, in this universe. Understanding that we are in the universe, we are part of the universe, you know. We are in the planet, but this universe and these planets have like guidelines for design, for the life, for many things, for cycles, you know, for the geometry. These guidelines is very organic guidelines, and in the same time is like in cycles, you know. The life in the planet all the time is in cycles, you know, the day, the night, and many other information from the universe and from the nature, like the flower of life. The flower of life for our study architecture is very important because it's our guideline to design, you know, because you can find many geometries. It's so amazing, so awesome, you know, all the information that you can get from this simple grid, but it's simple, but in the same time, is showing us that we are part of the life and we are geometry and we are mathematics, you know. In this slide, you can see guys in the left side, the geometric development of the flower of life. In the same time, in the right side, you can see the geometric development of the ovum, where the ovum are in fecundation, you know. It's the same process. And this slide is very interesting because are showing us that we are geometry, you know, we are part of the universe and we have origin. And it's very important to understand this origin. For that, Arquitectura Mixta have for this presentation, with Eugene agreement, the project The Guardians. The Guardian is a very beautiful project and very interesting for us because as part of the research and investigation that we are doing all these years to understand the nature geometry. For example, we are working in Tulum in Peninsula Yucatan, and we have here a lot of hurricanes, very, very aggressive hurricanes, you know. All the time, the architects and the engineers are designing to protect it for the hurricanes. But how is possible to flow with the hurricanes and how is possible to understand better all this information from the hurricanes? So with these kind of projects, we are working on that. I will show you more in front with the slides. This is the context of the project. We are in Mexico. We are here in the Peninsula Yucatan. It's so beautiful place. It's Caribbean, you know, beautiful beaches, beautiful context, cenotes, aggressive tourists as well. And in Playa del Carmen is in front to the Cozumel Island. And this project in Playa del Carmen is in a hotel. Sorry, this is the location for the project. This project in the design process was very intuitive, you know. the more bigger analysis that we did about the project was understand how the hurricane operates, how is the geometry of the hurricane. And we flow it with the nature, with the landscape in the context. These projects are in the big hotel, you know, this kind of hotels with big blocks, you know, with many rooms. But the owner of the project want to create like spots around the hotels, you know, but organic spots to create contracts and elements like sculptures, you know. The most important thing for them is that this project looks like a sculpture, bamboo sculpture. This is the layout for the Guardians. It's a very simple layout. Was he born in the flood of like great shell, and these curvatures are looking for the form finding for the hurricanes. You know, this is some renderings to understand how we can make pillars. We can create a restriction of the forces in the torsion with these elements, and to understand how we can use a concept from the universe. The name is fractality, you know, and the fractality is very important in this kind of architecture because this architecture is like parametric architecture and is designed since surfaces, you know. You have surfaces like an egg or like a leaf, and in this surface you create like a grid shell, and the name is that diaphragma structural. It's like a skin. Imagine your body, guys. You have your bones like a main structure, but to your bones have good functionality, need the skin, no? Need the meat, need all the system, the dermis, epidermis, to make all, to join all these elements to the structure. This is some elevations, but very schematic elevation. The rendering for us is very important because we work with Grasshopper and with Rhino because it's a parametric architecture. And the relation between the mathematics and the geometry is very important. Is right now with the technology, we can use this element to create the form finding, to understand the winds, you know, to understand the hurricane is what is the very geometry to receive the hurricane, you know. It's like to create a highway for the hurricane. It's very interesting. This is other section. So how is possible to build this kind of organic architecture? How is possible to flow with the organic geometry for the elements like the hurricanes with bamboo? Understanding that the bamboo is a giant grass, understanding that the bamboo have parallel fibers, you know, you have a fiber from the roots until the top, and you can extract fiber from the bamboo poles. And it's a very interesting system because it's fractality as well, you know. It's possible to get one fiber, but with the same fiber working together, many fibers, you have beams. You have a very interesting structural system like the diaphragmas structurales. And is the thing they understand how the universe operates. In the universe, all the operation is in collaboration, you know, it's fractal, it's in collaboration, you know, all the nature make this mood to work, and why we can get this information, you know, and to apply in the architecture. So now we know how it's possible to create these beams of these elements structurally, you know. Sorry, we are living in Mexico. This project is in Mexico. Mexico have different kind of bamboo. You know, we have wild angustifolia coon. It's not natural from here. Some people many years ago went to Colombia to get some nurses and come to Mexico and make different plantation. We are working in Chiapas, in Palenque, with different plantation and natural forests as well, but in other species, in alliance with a little enterprise, but very interesting. The name is Bamboo Maya. They is encouraged to the harvest, to select, you know, to make the selection in the forests, to speak with the farmers, to teach to the farmers how is the best way to cut bamboo, to protect the rhizoma, to protect all the plantation. Because for us, it's very important to understand all the process in the bamboo. It's not only to design bamboo architecture, it's not only to build bamboo architecture. We need to understand what is the mission of the bamboo here in the planet, you know, how the bamboo operates in the forest, why everyone loves the bamboo, you know, and why the bamboo have all these qualities and these capabilities. I mean, it's very important to go to the forest, you know, to touch the bamboo, to talk with the farmers, to cut the bamboo, to understand, like in this route, that you need to make a good cutting. This is the farmers, the people that we are working with us in Chiapas, in Palenque, you know, and we create like a support to them, like as association, you know, to improve the formal economic, to improve many things in their lives. This is in the warehouse where we did the treatment. We are cleaning the bamboo, you know, from the forest. We have many trash around, leaves, making the walls to create the treatment. This is the pool. We are using sal de boras, ácido bórico, and pentaborato for immersion for 5 days. And we have the beautiful bamboo poles. But remember that we are thinking in fibers, you know, in splits. And we have a process as well in this warehouse with some machines to create many splits, because we are using a lot of splits in each project. So we need to teach as well people there in Chiapas how is the better way to make these splits. Now we have the trees already, you know, and put in the truck and coming to Quintana Roo. The way is 12 hours in the road, and arrive in our workshop, you know, ready, the splits with good dimension, with treatment, with good quality bamboo, Wild Angustifolia cum. And in our workshop started our process, you know. This project was prefabricated in the pillars. For us, it's very important to have our workshop, our warehouse, our fab lab, you know, because we are working in innovation with bamboo architecture. And it's very important to have this space to research, to make tests, you know. And some architecture is possible to make in prefab architecture because it's fractality, you know. This pillar is made for many rings, you know, 2 different dimensions or 3 different dimensions. It's a fractal. It's possible to prefab the rings in the workshop, you know. This is the imagine in the workshop with the 7 pillars that we create, like 7 guardians, you know. The guardians project is a 7 guardians that are protecting this beach, you know, and that are making this connection between the beach and the interior. And here we are working in the guardians, in the pillars, you know, like a big spirit. And this is our fab lab here in Mexico. Some details, how the structural system, because it's like a reciprocal tower, each pillar, you know, but made with the splits, is more like a parametric pillars, you know, columns. You have different layers, like skins, to make an union for all these forces between the rings, you know. It's a continuous pillar, and you have some layers of the ring, and you have other layers inside the ring. And it's a beautiful, you know, for us, it's so beautiful to take this process in the workshop, you know, to understand the sacred geometry, to understand the universal geometry, to understand how you can get this information and put in a bamboo project, a beautiful bamboo project. This is the transport with our little trailer. And this is a beautiful view from the interior pillar from the beach, because this project is in front of the beach. It's very interesting because here in front of the beach you have a lot of rigs for hurricanes, sorry. You are in the middle of the beach, and in the hotel, it's sand. It's impossible to make foundation with concrete, you know, and we are using timber pillars and make up walls and put the pillar inside and make pressure, you know, like palafitos, for example. And up the palafitos, we create like a little deck in madera as well. And up the deck, we put each pillar and make a connection for between the bamboo and the deck. And this is the rings, the field rings, like guidelines for the geometry. But in this picture, I will show you guys the most important draw that we did in the construction is this one, is this line. This is the guideline for the constructors, for the builders. Can you hear me? Sorry, I lose the connection for a little bit.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I told you that this is the guidelines. This is the split. You know, it's like you have the sky is your paper. You know, and you need to draw the guidelines for the design. Sorry, I have a little problem. The presentation is stopped. Give me a second. Give me a second, guys. I don't know what happened, but my presentation is stopped. Maybe it's my laptop. But you can see all the guidelines, you know, all the splits in the ground, and we are started to create like the surface for the roof, you know, but that will be like a diaphragmatic structural, like a surface. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, we are suggesting, Jamie, that you turn off your camera, and then maybe you can, then you can concentrate. You might come back again. Your mic is off as well now. If you can just,
got it.
Yeah. Oh,
that's okay, good. This is the top of the pillar, you know, in the top of the pillar, in the central pillar, we make the other ring, like a guidelines as well for the fibers, you know. You have this ring to make the height, to make the diameter, and at the same time, these fibers are drawing the layout, the surface, you know. Sorry, guys, my connection. It's the computer. I have problem with them. So this project are in front of the beach, like you can see, you know, we are working with a beautiful view. The most interesting thing that is this project got 3 hurricanes last year, or the last 1 year, and this is totally in perfect conditions, the structure, because the system for the form finding to understand how the geometry of the hurricane operates help us to build better the structure in front of the hurricanes. I will show you without full screen, okay, Eugene, because when I have full screen, it's blocked.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, we are going on and put more splits and more splits and more splits. This work is like a therapy, guys, for our workers, you know, but you are working the patience, you know, because it's the same fractal, it's the same element. It's like a bird nets, you know, it's the same work like a bird nets, and you are webbing and webbing and webbing and webbing, because Arquitectura Mixta is working in weavings, you know. We are weavings with architecture. We don't build with architecture. We are weavers, and it's so beautiful because it's like a message as well for the people, talking about the collaboration in the world, about how the universe operates. And this process is weaving, put more splits, because we have the geometry, we have the guidelines, and right now it's only to follow these guidelines, you know, to follow this geometry and to understand how the structure will win its force, you know, will improve the force and the inflections and other elements. This is the element is very important, because we have a pillar, but the pillar is like a cylinder and have a rotation or torsions movements. And with this rain and with this bamboo is Philostachys aurea, we can make restrictions for these rotation forces, you know. In Mexico, also we have very beautiful Philostachys aurea and Philostachys bambusoide. And right now we are finding ways to work with more smaller diameter bamboo. in this kind of geometries, you know. So in the universe and in the biology have very different systems. One of these systems is the branching system. The branching system is the more efficient system to connect energy, you know, to transport energy. You have the branching system in your pulmons. You have the branching system in your blood, in your system, circulatory system, and at the same time in the tendons, in the roots, you know, in the placenta for the babies. I don't know how it's in English, placenta, but in the way for the rivers. And this system is possible to get the information to put in bamboo architecture, you know. And this system is like a branching system because it's a multi-directional forces transmission system, and it's very, very efficient, like the mycelium as well. You know, the mycelium is the part of the ground of the mushrooms, and the myceliums in the same time are having energy transmission, but it's a branching system as well. It's very efficient because for the mycelium, all the trees are doing transport for medicine for the other trees, you know, for many information. Okay, perfect. I'm almost ready.
Thanks.
And this is finally the shape of the texture that the roof have, with all the splits, something like this as well. We have the surfaces created. One thing in this project, guys, the client don't want to cover it, you know. I tried many ways to convince him to put some element to coverage to have more protection, but they love it like this. And for them, it's a sculpture, you know, and they're available to replace it in 8 years or 10 years for them. And here we are making the ceiling because we have other diaphragmatic structural under the structure. See the ceiling. We have the shape here. Other pictures about the relation between the ceiling, between the pillars, between the views. You know, it's so beautiful, the shape, the form that you can create and you can find, you know, with this kind of technique for architecture. Yeah, and all these structures made it with the same piece, with a fractal piece, with one fiber. It's amazing, the concept. And the flexibility, the high resistance to the tension, to the traction forces is amazing as well. You know, the capability or capacity to have curvatures, you know, beautiful curvatures as well. So interesting, the system. You know, the structure have no floor. The flooring, no, the floor is the beach. You know, is the sand. It's like a connection between the beach and the interior on the hotel. And how the bamboo architecture is introducing the future. I think the most important to understand the future, we need to back to the origin, you know, to our ancestrality, to understand the pure knowledge in the origin. It's like to back to the womb, you know, and to establish a very beautiful relation with the nature, because we are nature. We are living inside in the nature, in the middle of the nature. And it's very important as well to understand how the universe operates, because we are living in the universe, we are living in ancestry. It's necessary to back to this ancestrality, to this ancestry, to understand how our indigenous cultures put their structures in this planet, you know, like the Kogi in Colombian culture, indigenous, but so very, very beautiful. Thanks a lot for the opportunity, Eugene, and congrats to the other speakers. That I said in starting my presentation is I'm feeling so glad right now, you know, to stay here in the middle of this big architecture around the world and to put Arquitectura Mixta in this level with this kind of projects. Thanks a lot for everything. Blessed.
Thank you, Jaime. I hope that you guys found that interesting all the way from Mexico. Arquitectura's work is pretty unique, and their approach is also quite different from many of the bamboo protagonists. So yeah, thank you very much, Jaime.
Thank you.
For the audience, I'd like to encourage you to really put your questions through Facebook. I think you're watching through the Cendana platform and also the KLWKND platform. I hope that you enjoyed the 4 talks. We now are going to move into the Q&A sessions. If you can start posting your questions now, I do have a lot of questions to these 4 guys. Now that we have gone deeper into their work, please send through your questions if you can. But I'd like to start. I'd like to start with Widi. Widi, if you're still there, with your building in Guangzhou, maybe tell us more about the challenges of working. You brought the building, you brought Balinese workers and bamboo, right? All the way to China to build. Maybe tell us a bit more about the process, also the approvals, and even the workers there, right? How did you integrate? How did you talk with, did you have to learn Mandarin? Did the workers have to learn Mandarin? I know some of the team that went, I think they all enjoyed it as well. But tell us more, tell us the story.
Yeah, it's a quite long story. Because the design process is almost 1 year, and I think the most problem is about the regulation, the local regulation, because at that time it's difficult to approve the bamboo buildings in that place, and the local government and my clients need to make the local government's convenience with the bamboo structures, and so we need to design it very well, very strong, with good quality civil engineer to calculate all the tile, all the structures, and after that my clients submit the building permit into to government. And yeah, it's number 1. It's number 2 is about it's difficult to invite the outside worker from outside the China to China. I mean, there are a lot of local people, local worker in China, but so the local government protect all the workers. So once again, my client try to make the government convenient with these teams, and it's a part of transfer of knowledge between a Balinese skilled worker, bamboo skilled worker, with the local China workers. So they can learn from the bamboo expert from Bali and make their own bamboo project for the next time. So that is the problems. And for the constructions, we know China there are a lot of typhoons. So that is my concern with my civil engineer to calculate it and how to solve that problems. And I think that is the most problem at that time.
I think, it must have been challenging, a lot of challenges, but eventually it was built. It's very good. I see also some Chinese workers trying to also learn from you guys. But generally, all around in many countries, bamboo sometimes cannot move ahead, because if you imagine you are an approving officer or a building officer that's trying to approve a bamboo building, there are currently not that many standards or many precedents for them to confidently approve it. It's not easy for them. And as architects, as designers that propose the building, we have a lot to do to be able to convince them to approve it, right? Some of the ways would be to show them what's been built around the world, and also to get engineers, structural engineers, bamboo specialist engineers to help us prove that our buildings can be approved, right? To the special location, be it earthquakes, hurricanes, typhoons, moisture, right?
Mhm.
Bad weather, inclement weather, many things to convince. So we have our work cut out to make bamboo a lot more acceptable.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you, Vidi.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to move on. I'll come back around for general questions, but I'd like to now turn to Markus. Markus, your particular situation in Chiang Mai is very unique. And I'd like you also, if you don't mind, to talk a bit about the artisans and workers that you work with. I was very intrigued when I went, and also I read about them and your relationship with them. I think this would be a good area to sort of elaborate for us.
Okay. So you see, the actual traditional architecture in Thailand was wooden architecture, not bamboo, because bamboo was just used for small things that come and go fast. So there's not really much indigenous knowledge about advanced or even simple bamboo architecture in terms of construction. You know, just nail things together that fall apart. And when I got in touch with these, they're called Thayais, actually a group from the Shan state in Burma. These people were migrants, were immigrants to Thailand, and they they had to cross the border because the Burmese army burned down the villages, and then they were in Thailand, and the Thais also are not really too happy to have so many immigrants coming in, and so they want them to sustain themselves to a certain extent. And so we started working with them. And in the beginning also, they didn't have much knowledge about bamboo construction, but they had the feel. They know how the material works. You know, they can touch the bamboo and know the strength of the column. And they know how far it can bend it without breaking it. And so they had an inner feel for the material. So when we started working, and at the beginning, our things were, of course, more simple because we also didn't understand bamboo that well. And the more we advanced with our knowledge, some crystal foremen, so to speak, stood out of the group that had a faster grasp of what we wanted to do and understanding. And so we just develop the things together. I mean, now we are at the point where when we make a model that my foreman can look at and say, oh, here's maybe a weakness, or here, and maybe we can do this different. So it's really a back and forth between us designing something and the guys who build it, just because they have the feel for the material. And so we took them in. I built like 3 small villages where they can stay with us, and we provide them a place and water, electricity, and like this, they brought their families in, and it became like a big community. And like we heard before too, it's like a family now. The thing is, they're very loyal, so they don't come and go, because that's one of the things too, right? If you have good people and then they walk off and do something on themselves or here or there, it's difficult to grow, and to grow not only in terms of size, but also to grow in terms of knowledge and to go further, because you can't grow without good workers, right? I mean, that's impossible. They bring in so much important information about what can be done or what next, and they have ideas by themselves. So it's really a back and forth, and I'm very lucky to have all these people with me now since, without much turnover since almost 10 years.
Wow. It's a fascinating story and process. You are indeed fortunate, right? Compared to many bamboo people who have struggled and are still struggling to find workers, right? Right workers, good workers, reliable workers.
Yes.
Has that been transferred to any of the local Thais as well? Have they sort of come in to join or pick up some of the skills?
There we had resident architects, and now there are some others in Thailand who do that, but it's not growing very fast in Thailand. So there's more, I would say, there's more architects who want to design than there's people who can actually build that out there right now. That I think I'm probably not alone with that.
No,
And,
it's a huge problem that's going to hit us. Like hitting us now. Every country that I connect with has got the same problem. So we have to watch out. We have to be careful and encourage how to increase our workforce.
yes, it's not easy even for me. So because it's like a big family, it's also the downside of this is difficult to integrate others. So we encourage them to bring in their brothers and their cousins and their uncles and grow family wise, you know.
It is very different, even from my experience in Bali. I think Vidi will agree that Bali, because it is in the essence of Bali, right? Bamboo is so much in the essence of Bali and in the community all around, right? And there are many pockets of skills that they don't have much worry about how to get workers, but their worry is which team shall I choose, right? There are many teams. In Bali, they have workers with like 10 people form almost like a platoon, and they can build that building. Vidi will tell you, like Vidi, if you're on join in, they are like this big building that he had was built by 10 or 15 people, and that's it, right? They are all skilled, and it's good because they've managed to build this industry from the beginning, from tradition. And we should look at that as a model and see how, whether it's relevant to each country or each sector, whether we can actually do that and then be able to expand, right? And then he is going now overseas to influence other people, which is amazing.
I think Bali is very fortunate to have all these skilled workers, right? And it's in the culture. So if it's not in the culture, like with us or with others, it's definitely more difficult.
It's very hard. It's very hard. I'm building or trying to build and collaborate in Malaysia, and it's very hard, even among the traditional workers. They've lost a lot of their skills because they have been urbanized, right? We talk about urbanization, and a lot of things are lost. So yeah, that's tough. It's tough. Thank you, Markus. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Now approach Mauricio. If you're there, Mauricio, you mentioned something quite interesting about allowing bamboo to move, and it should move, right? Allowing bamboo to move, this big arch of yours and this weight of your green roof coming in and allowing bamboo to move. It's interesting. It's interesting. Please tell us a bit more about that, and also about, I think quite a few people will want to know about how bamboo is bent, right? I remember one of your photos shows bamboo with a bit of carbonization, like some burn marks, and how does it bend? And please explain more about that to us.
Yes, sure, Eugene. So basically, about bending bamboo. It's you do it with fire usually. The slowest you do it, the better, because actually something quite interesting happens during the process. Because sometimes even during the protection of the bamboo from insects and fungi, something can restart again, because bamboo as it is void inside. Of course, it's a perfect house for many little animals, right? So the burning is used for bending, but also for protecting the bamboo, for protecting it further, because of course the fire will kill the parasites that have remained or that have restarted to live there, and at the same time the outer layer of the bamboo starts it becomes even more. It's already hard, but it even becomes more harder and unifies. So this is a way of bending it. You start slowly bending. You have to depends on the curve you want to achieve. You have to do like a I don't know how to call it in English, but it's like you have to draw the curve and like on the ground,
like a template.
Exactly. Thank you. You have to make a template, and you slowly start to warm it, to put fire in it, and then it gets this curve, right? And it's amazing because it states then you get it cold, you use cold water, so it's all natural materials. It's fire, water, and bamboo. And the curve, it was quite interesting because during the curving process of the arches for the bamboo eye, as I showed you, the geometry is the Aurea proportion, right? Is the Fibonacci sequence that was the original proportion, and we actually found that this was the maximum bending we could achieve with the bamboo was that of the Aurea section. So there's definitely a relationship between this kind of proportions, geometry, and nature, because actually proportions in geometry are the language of nature. So the bamboo is quite interesting because it moves. Going back now to movement, right? It's one of its best features is flexibility, and we did the testings we've done in labs here in the University of Milano, Politecnico di Milano. We've recognized, like for explaining you how amazing bamboo is when you do the labs, the testing the lab with concrete. The concrete, when it achieves a certain point, it breaks, it explodes. So imagine this in a building. A building, if it gets, the building will collapse in a dramatical way. With steel, the steel will bend and will stay bended. So it will stay bended. So if it's a building made of steel, when it bends, it will bend. And if it's tilted too much, of course, it will fall down. Bamboo, on the other hand, and also wood will break as for steel. The reaction is quite similar to steel. Instead, with bamboo, the bamboo will, even if it breaks, it will come back to its original position. So bamboo is quite stubborn, right? It's a stubborn material. So, but this makes it flexible. So imagine a building, the bamboo will burn, go like this, but that comes to the back to its position. This movement will can create hurt people, of course, and can create damage of the facades of the building or the different parts of the building, because bamboo will move. So you have to control this movement, and you have to study the movement of the bamboo. So the weight of the earth on top of the bamboo eye, and we do it different ways for every project. We study the movement, and we decide which is the tolerance. Usually, when you work for tolerances for glass facades or for steel and glass or steel, concrete and glass buildings, the tolerance are millimeters. With bamboo, you have to think about centimeters and centimeters, and it's okay. So you just have to know about it. You have to accept it and work with centimeters. And so the facades of the huge facades of the glass facades of the bamboo eye, the interaction with the bamboo is a matter of centimeters. So they can move. The facade stays still, of course, and the arches have the possibility to move up to 3 to 4 centimeters without creating any damage. And the earth, without the earth, the bamboo will move double, at least to 8 to 10 centimeters movement, which is probably not perceptible to the eye, but it does move. With the earth on top, with the weight, the bamboo will move less, and the earth is not concrete, so it doesn't crack. And this movement, so the reaction between natural materials is very harmonic, and works quite well.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a good way to put it. I think that's a good way to put it, and actually justifies the design very well. Thank you. I'm going to also refer to you a question that someone asked about the books that you showed earlier. Are they available in English?
Unfortunately, in English, let's say the Renzo Piano big book, it's like 1,000-page book, which I did a chapter. It's been translated already to English. Yes, you can find it online. Probably, I will look for the name in English, and I will post it here so you can share it. The manual I wrote, this one, it's only in Italian for the moment, unfortunately.
You should get it translated, my friend.
Yes, absolutely. I will do that, and I should update it because this has some more than 10 years, so should include more projects and more studies. But it's quite interesting also for engineers, because I did it with together with an Arup engineer, with Jimena Londoño. She's one of the important botanists, experts in bamboo in the world. So it has a lot of interesting cooperations inside. And I think that's, yeah, you're right. I should do that. That's one of the, it's in my list, but unfortunately I've been delaying this work. As you're publishing a very good book, you know how difficult it is to make books, right?
Well, talking about
Isn't
books,
it? I would like you to talk.
about books.
Can I make you a question?
If with architects and also designers in bamboo, we're talking about 20-year cycles, right? The first generation of bamboo architects and designers came through, and we are the second generation, the next 20 years. Same with books. Books started also in the same time, right? Oscar Hidalgo, right? And a few other big books, the bamboo Bibles. But now we have reached a point where it's like, it needs updating like your book, right? We should all think about trying to share what we have and updating it.
Absolutely.
We talk about a book. Yeah, I'm also trying to publish a book, and it's coming out next year. And just out of interest, all the 4 buildings that you've seen or you've seen today is in that book, plus another 24, 25 others. It's a collection of bamboo buildings and a study of their structural form. So that's coming together and will be published early next year, Mauricio.
Amazing, great.
Including your bamboo eye.
So much. It's a great work you're doing.
Let's hope that, yeah, it'll be enjoyed and used as a reference. Thank you. And I will move on. I'll come back to you. Move on to Markus. Back to Markus again. This is a question from Abdul Rahim. On Panyaden Grand Hall, how many poles of bamboo are used? Any estimation of how many hectares of land used to plant enough bamboo for a building this size? Wow, there you go.
I've never calculated the amount of poles used, but it's definitely over 1,000.
For sure.
Yeah, but our bamboo, you see, in Thailand, we don't really have plantations yet. So most of the bamboo comes from community forests, which are the forests that the National Forest Department lets the local communities govern by themselves. And the important part in the beginning was to teach them how to harvest it sustainably. So if they come and, the beginning, they just cut down everything, one whole clump, and send it to us. And we just send back ruthlessly 80%, 90% said that's useless. And if you do that, what are you going to sell us next year? And the incentive of the money is the only thing that taught them, you see. You can talk and talk, but if there's no money behind, it doesn't work. So here it was just purely they saw, okay, well, no, we have nothing next year. So what exactly do you want? And then they started to listen how to, what we need, what they should cut, what they shouldn't cut. Don't cut the 1, 2, 3 years olds because that's your future money. And then it started to be more sustainable. If money flows together with your objective, that works the best, right?
Yeah, good training for them, and good training and sort of cultural changes need to happen. Yes.
I mean, as we know it, for the clump bamboo, it grows like a grass. So the new ones are outside; they're easier to cut, and the human being likes to take the shortcut, and they cut those. So we had to really say, I know it's a bit more work, but I don't mind if you charge me more. So we were willing to pay more for the high grade bamboo, and then the whole thing came rolling. And thus, it cannot come from one community only. The bamboo from our hall came from several communities. So it's very difficult to estimate the hectareage. I'm very sorry. I have no idea.
Oh, it's a tough question. Thank you, Markus. I'm going to move on to Jamie. Jamie, we have a question for you straight away. A few questions. So get ready for this, Jamie.
Yeah,
your work is so beautiful, right? It says your work is so beautiful. Can you please talk a little more in detail of how you process the bamboo into splits, how you treat the splits, and do you fix the splits with metal into place or with wooden dowels? In the end, do you put varnish on the splits? And when do you do the circles with splits? Do you keep the splits in place only with this metal, or do you apply glue between splits? There you go.
Okay, about the how we process the splits will depend the context of what kind of bamboo you will use to process the splits. For example, here in Mexico, we have Guada angustifolia cum, but the bamboo Guada angustifolia cum forest is still young, you know, and you don't have big diameters Guada angustifolia cum land in Colombia, and you need to think only in to have more material for each pool, you know, more splits for each pool. For el rendimiento. So we select the poles more or less between 9 centimeters and 11 centimeters, you know, a nice poles. And we are using like a very simple carpenter saw, you know. It's a saw, it's a table, and you put the bamboo and put in the middle, you know, and you have 2 parts. And this other 2 parts you will cut in and cut in and cut in, you know, to have the splits. And after that, you polish, no, all the faces, all the sides for the splits. In the beginning of the process, I started to make them first the splits, and after that to make the treatment. But we had a lot of problems with the fungi for the high humidity that we have here in Peninsula Yucatan, you know, because for the storage you need to put many splits.
Sorry, Jamie, we are
right now,
losing the audio. We've lost a bit of the audio. Try again the last sentence.
About the treatment. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, it's quite not a very good connection at the moment. Try again.
Okay, about the treatment in the beginning, we first make the splits, and after that put the splits in the treatment. But we had a lot of problems with the moisture, with the humidity here in Mexico.
Okay, Amy, I've been asked for you to just type your answer because we cannot hear you that clearly. So maybe just type in, like, how do you deal with the splits? Is it wooden or is it metal? And then do you glue the splits? If you can type that in for me, then we'll wait for that and then answer for you. Is that okay? Jamie, yeah, okay.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. While we wait for Jamie to type that through, I have a few questions for you guys. Anyone's welcome to answer, jump in and answer. But this is the first one, right? When will there be a bamboo skyscraper, say at least above 10 stories? Not if, but when. Yeah, please, anyone of the panel, please answer. Yeah, Mauricio, go ahead.
Okay, I have to say that like physically there is no limits with bamboo. I think so. I think it's very possible, and we've calculated with a construction system we design with uses no perforation and no concrete, and needs no specialized manpower. We've calculated up to 7 to 8 stories, but we can even go higher. We're working on a higher project now, which is a mix of materials, and in bamboo is one of the principles. But the real, I think the real limits we have, and that's what we're working as the INBAR, World Bamboo Organization, the Bamboo International Organization for Bamboo and Rattan, is the codes, the building codes. That's the limit we have with bamboo. Usually, I imagine that probably it's the same for Markus, Weedy, and Jaime. We have to do prototype for every project we design, like the bamboo eye or the energy efficient bamboo house, or now we're doing a bamboo research and development center building. And for all of these projects we have to do, we're also designing a small tower here in Italy. We have to do prototypes, and we have to do all the structural tests on the prototypes, since we have no codes, and we have to demonstrate through the results, not only of the calculations of the engineer, but also of the practical and destructive. Some of them are destructive tests we have to do to the bamboo. We have to demonstrate that the bamboo structure works, right, in a very pragmatical way. This is the only way we get the approvals at the moment, which makes it longer timing, makes it more expensive, and makes it many clients are not very, of course, are not available to do this kind of procedure. So I think the real limits for making skyscrapers or for building, but with bamboo in the cities, which is my mission, is the construction codes, the building codes.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's a pretty good and solid answer.
And these building codes, we just issued the ISO, were issued by INBAR, and you can find them in the website very recently. But we're working now on specific codes for Europe, America, Asia, etc.
Yeah, I mean the codes
At
are
least-
covered
at
up to,
least-
I think, 3
at-
stories. Yeah, two
Yeah.
or 3 stories. But we
Yeah.
need to add a 0 there eventually.
Yes, I agree.
Pak Widi, you wanted to say something about it. When do you think you will build your skyscraper or tall bamboo building in Bali?
I think it's depend to the client, because related to the budget, right? For the we trust with the bamboo structures. We already made with many type of structure, and I believe we can make it tall buildings with bamboo. But it's back to the budget and to the client. So because it's not cheap, right, to make something like that. But yeah, with our capability, with our workers, with our materials, yeah, I think if like today there is a client that want to make something like that, I think, yeah, very soon. Yeah.
Good. I think it's going to happen. It's only when.
Yeah.
We look forward to that day when someone does the first tall building.
Yeah.
Markus, when are you going to have a bamboo skyscraper in Chiang Mai?
I think I would like to build one in Bangkok. I think
that would be better. Yeah.
That the development will be logarithmical, right? In the beginning is slow, and then it will pick up very fast, because with the amount of bamboo buildings being built, and the knowledge will increase logarithmically. And then, so I hope that, within the next 10 years, we will see something. The next 3-4 years will look slow, but I think the last 2-3 years, then it will pick up and come. So yeah, I would love to. And I agree with all the 2 others. I don't think the problem is in the material. And the problem is first a good client who is willing to make the first step. It's always the first building that is the most difficult. Once there's one up, so maybe I'll leave the first one to Video or Mauricio, and then I'll do the
Everyone is nodding. Everyone is nodding and pushing the issue to the next person.
it will be easier. But I think the biggest problem for us will be the fireproofing part, because that the legislation here, the problem is how fast can you get people out, right? If there is a fire. So structurally, I think we can convince earlier. It's the material engineering that will need to pick up and provide us with a simple, not too expensive way to increase the fire resistance.
Yeah, I want to continue with you here, because we are talking about fire, but we're also talking about using different materials, right? Imagine a bamboo skyscraper, but with a fire-rated core in another material. That is like combining bamboo with another material. Exactly. We are all looking into this field where, especially you, Markus, you work with a few other materials with your buildings. So maybe just talk a bit to that if you can.
Yes, I mean, we combine a lot with earthen walls, and as most of the others, Maurice and all said, we try to be as sustainable as possible, because these materials not only will help us to use this planet longer, but they actually work together very well. The earth has very good insulation capabilities. With the adobe bricks, I can make organic forms much easier. So there's a lot of combination possibilities with other natural materials. And then again, as you said, if it is necessary to even have a concrete steel reinforced core, I wouldn't mind. Even now in Thailand, if I make a 2 or 3 story building, and we've made several 2-story buildings, I have to put in a reinforced concrete structure. Otherwise, I wouldn't get building permission. And for me, it is more important to build than to be too pure in the end, because whatever we build, whatever people see is where the imagination will grow. It's much better to have something out there that is a bit of a compromise than to have nothing out there, right? So in the end, if the way to go is with a reinforced core structure, as you said, we've been thinking about that too, then yeah, I'm in, whatever works, whatever looks good, but whatever makes bamboo grow, I would do it.
Great. Thank you, Markus. I'm going to go back to Jaime and see whether his video is working. Jaime, yeah, can you try? Jamie, can you try your to see if you can work your video, your audio?
Can you give me access for the new requests? Maybe I can have better sound.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're muted. Jamie, you're muted. Okay, looks like having some problem. Jamie has typed his answer. So I've asked him whether it's a metal or bamboo fixing or yeah. He's saying we don't use any glue, but in the middle of the steel belts, we use bamboo pins to join all the splits in this area. So he's using bamboo pins basically. And, he's also using paint, a kind of paint, a UV type paint, to protect the bamboo from UV and moisture exposure.
Can you hear me now? Better?
Still not as good, Jamie. Still not as good. Okay, I think we're going to. There's one more question coming. This is about one of the many questions we always get, right? The lifespan. What is the lifespan expected for these buildings? Anyone wants to answer that? For your building, let's say for the building that you have talked about, Mauricio, yeah, go ahead. The lifespan.
Yes, I mentioned it during the presentation, and it's officially in the INBAR website. The lifespan for the bamboo structure is 30 years.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If you when you build a normal building, the guarantee of, let's say, a glass facade company will give you to the glass facade is never more than 25 years.
Yeah, even then some don't give 25 years. Yeah,
exactly. So 30 years, it's a good.
It's very good. Yeah, excellent. Markus, what do you expect the Panyaden Sports Hall? What's the lifespan you reckon for it?
There's 2 parts. There's the structural part, and then there's the bamboo roof. For the structural part, of course, we have to design always in a way that our structures are not exposed to the elements, because it's the elements that wear them down, right? Rain and sun. So in our design, we've done that. So like Mauricio, I would think 30 years, but it should be the minimum. I think it will last longer, because there's no reason for this to deteriorate after 30 years. The bamboo in itself, we have seen, if you look in Japan or also in other buildings, you see bamboo in buildings lasting 50, 60 years also. So yeah, 30 years is a good guess for the structural part. For the roof part, where we use the split bamboo, that part in the beginning, when we were not so good, it lasted about 10 years. So now the newer roofs, I expect them to last at least about 15 years, maybe longer. But we don't have the real experience for that yet. But the material is better, the craftsmanship is better. So we do expect at least that.
Great, great. Wow, 15 years, 10, 15 years is good. Yeah. Weedy, your building in China, did they ask you how long it's going to last?
Yeah, it's I'm thinking minimum is 20 years, and it's back to the maintenance also. Yeah, regular maintenance, and that is very,
How about
very
the roof?
important.
The roof, the Plupuh itself, how long do you think?
Yeah, for the Plupuh roof is around 6-7 years. And but we have the asphalt sit under the main roof, right? So there is no problem with the leaking, something like that. We just replace the top of the cover of the roof.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. 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 Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to now try Jamie again. Looks like he seems to be got a stable connection now on his phone. Maybe Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Better. Okay,
Good.
perfect. About the question that have in the chat, you know, I'm talking about the treatment of the bamboo. But in the beginning, we put we made first the splits, and after that, we put the splits in the treatment tank. But we had a lot of problems for the moisture, for the high moisture and the humidity here in Peninsula Yucatan in Mexico, when you put together all the splits to storage, you know. And we try to make the treatment first in the pole and put in the sun a little bit, and after that to make the splits. And right now it's going very, very, very well, and we have a very good quality of material. We are not using glue right now. We are using only the fixation with the steel bends. And in the middle of this space, we put bamboo pins, you know, to fix all the splits, to don't have horizontal movements in these elements. This is
So you
the
got
answer.
steel clamps, and then you have bamboo pins to fix. Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle of the steel clamp, depending on the engineer calculations, we have the distance between the clamps, and in the middle I put pins, you know, in different directions to make fixation on the split. Yeah.
Also, to make it clear, I think you said that you have better results from first treating the poles and then drying them out nicely before making the splits, right? Not the other way around. Make the splits and then treat them, right? So
Yeah,
it's useful to know. Useful to know.
Yeah, it's better to put the pole in the treatment first, and after that to make the splits. Here in Mexico,
but you need to dry, season it up first so that the poles are dry before you split the poles, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, great.
But not
Thank
totally
you.
dry. Not totally dry, Eugene. You need a little bit, you know, for the machine, because when the bamboo is totally dry for the machine, it's so difficult.
Hard.
You know, it's very hard. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good to have you back online. the voice was
Thank
bad
you.
just
Sorry
now.
guys for the connection, but in the middle of the jungle, it's a very challenge to have here energy and internet.
No, it's okay. It's okay. At least we managed to reach you. Yeah. I think we have time for maybe one more question, a very general one. How do you see both engineered bamboo and full count bamboo working together? Meaning by engineered bamboo, I mean potentially bamboo beams that have been put together, right? Like cross-laminated timber, or bamboo columns as well. Is there a possibility that we in future might be using that to help our full count, or is that going to wipe out the full count bamboo architecture and everything is engineered, right? Because it's so convenient, and engineers will like it because there are formulas, there are codes that they can conform to, right? We're almost going back to rigidity. So that's my question to you guys. Anyone wants to put up your hand? If not, I'm going to elect someone to answer.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
Jamie, go.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You want to start, Jaime, or can I?
Jaime can start. He put his hand up first. Sorry, I
Go
saw
ahead,
his hand
go.
first.
Please go.
Okay, right now for the relation between the engineer and the architect is very important, you know, because we are working in innovation and we are working in a very, very difficult place in the natural phenomena, you know. We are with a lot of hurricanes and we need to create this good relation between the both parts, you know. And with this system, it's possible to build amazing structure with good engineering in pillars, in diaphragmas, in all the elements.
Okay, thank you, Jamie, Mauricio.
So regarding your question about engineered bamboo, as you notice in the arches of the bamboo eye, we introduced engineered bamboo. Basically, in the previous projects before the bamboo eye, I've never used I've never perforated bamboo. I never used any type of element that perforates bamboo, and I have never put concrete inside of the bamboo, as I think that another interesting part of the bamboo is that of it's a structure that can be, the damaged elements can be replaced. So our bamboo house, for example, all our connections are by pressure, and you can replace damaged elements if necessary. And that's one point. The other point, so in the bamboo arches, we since our 32 meter span, we had to approach another challenge, which was not difficult to make. We have no time. The budget also was limited. We did all the project was done in 9 months from concept to construction. Was crazy. That's the Chinese context. It's quite crazy, and so I didn't have the physical time to develop a connection that would have been without any perforation. So I accepted the fact that we had to perforate the bamboo, but I was not going to accept the fact to introduce concrete, cement, or any type in the joints. So I introduced engineered bamboo, and as I showed in some pictures, the engineered bamboo, because the bamboo is being void and having not enough mass, when you perforate it, you can damage it. It's a fiber, you can create cracks, as we all know, or you can actually squash it, right? So I introduced, there's 18 bamboos with a hexagonal form. The arches, the section of the arches is 18 bamboos, and these arches have sometimes I didn't include the drawings, but have engineered bamboo at certain points where we introduce the balls. The balls catch the engineered bamboo, grab the engineered bamboo, not and avoid the squashing or the cracking of the natural material. So
Okay.
I think that the best material is natural bamboo. I'm actually much against engineered bamboo because it uses so much glue that I would prefer nowadays. I would prefer laminated wood than laminated bamboo or engineered bamboo today. If the technology develops further, we will see. But I think that bamboo is such an amazing, as we saw in the projects of today, all of the projects today, bamboo is a magical product of nature. So why engineering it? I think engineers and architects, we should adapt to the natural bamboo, not the other way around, right? So so using it in some points can be good. Probably is from my point of view for the arches, I would prefer to use laminated bamboo at the joints instead of concrete.
Yeah, thank you, Mauricio. Very well put. I really support quite a lot of what you say. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes, Marcus.
So, I mean, I really appreciate what you've done, Mauricio. I really like your combination of the engineered part and not using concrete. I have my highest respect for that. And I think we have to be practical because we have architects and engineers and we understand what we are talking about, but we also have the clients. And the client comes from a point of view where he knows nothing. And the bigger the building, the bigger his risk, because his exposure to the world, you know, his exposure to other investors or whatever. So I'm how should I say, I'm with you. I think poles are the best way to go. As more natural, the better it is. But then again, we need to grow bamboo in its exposure to the world. And in order to do that, I'm ready to, you know, do anything that works. And I think laminated or engineered bamboo in combination with the poles will be an easier way to crack into the existing concrete and steel dominated landscape, because this is all because it's so easy to calculate there. So if we can put something up, it's easy to calculate. And then from there, we can slowly educate. You know, it's like a process where you start somewhere and then you bring them to where you be. You got to pick them up where they are. If the step is too big, it's not going to happen so easy. If we can break it down into smaller steps, and I'm with you also, I'm against the glue, the amount of glue that is used. And I've also been thinking more towards the wood, but then again, once we start wood, we don't increase the trust in the bamboo. So there's always this, you know, this thing where we have to where we have to see what is our end goal. My end goal is the thing that I showed you in my presentation, a huge skyscraper built of bamboo. And how do I get there?
Yes.
So I think I think laminated bamboo will help us.
Great, good. Thank you. Widi, any feedback, any addition?
Yeah, I am absolutely agree with Mauricio about the engineered bamboo. I mean, to make engineered bamboo, it's need long process from the raw material until finish. We need many glue and many effort to make it, and it's not. I mean, it's not too eco because the long process, and it will be expensive for the materials. So for me, the bamboo pole is the best material because we just use the natural one. It's easy to get, cheap, and we just need like our creativity to design, follow the materials. But I believe the engineered bamboo will be the next future material to change maybe woods or other material. Yeah, yeah, that's my concerns. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you, Widi. Looks like we are sort of coming into a close now. Thank you very much, speakers, for your presentation and also the lively Q&A. Just any parting words from you before we all sign off? Maybe anyone wants to say goodbye, that'd be great. Say anything to the audience out there.
I will start by congratulating my colleagues, because as we signed, and this includes you, of course, Eugene. As we saw before, in the question before, we were all thinking that the future and the material that engineers and other architects will feel more comfortable to use is engineered bamboo. So we are really courageous. We're really strong because we've been using natural bamboo no matter what. So first of all, I want to congratulate you guys, because we're an example of building, designing and building with natural bamboo, which is not a thing for everybody. So that's the first thing I want to say. Congratulations. And thank you to Eugene for putting us all together. For me, it's a pleasure to meet you. I haven't met you before personally. I know your work, but not you personally. And I'm more impressed now than before.
One day we'll meet physically.
Yes,
sure.
we should make the skyscraper together, you know, all of us. Join forces.
Yes. Thank you, Mauricio.
Who listen to us, who listen to us. For the organization to invite us and to trust in us as speakers.
Yeah, find the right client.
Yes.
Yes. Pak Widi.
Yeah, thank you very much for you, Eugene, for this for the seminar, and yeah, to all the speaker, Mauricio and Mr. Marcus and Jamie, and yeah, I think we need to make all the people believe with this material, with this with bamboo. So we hope we can create more how to explain, more beautiful bamboo buildings with smart ideas, and we hope all the people can follow us and use bamboo as a very good material. Yeah, thank you for all.
Thank you, Pak Widi.
Yeah.
Marcus?
Well, it was very encouraging to listen to everybody today. It's really amazing the knowledge that is out there, and I'm really honored to have learned you all today. And I hope we will stay in touch. And Eugene, I mean, it is really a credit to how you're standing in the bamboo community to make this happen. Thank you so much. Bamboo is inevitable.
Thank you, Marcus. Jaime?
And thank you, everyone, guys, and congrats, Eugene, for opening this space, and thanks a lot for invite us to participate in this panel, and congrats for everyone, Mauricio, Marcus, and Guti. It's an amazing work, you know, and I'm proud of this kind of architects that are working on that, you know, in this bamboo world, because it's so amazing. It's the universe, the bamboo world, you know, even in poles, even in the splits, even in organic, even in the square, you know, you are looking forward for the best way, for the best proposal, but the most important thing is to create this connection between the nature of the bamboo and between us, you know, and create this LinkedIn and these spaces to create nets and looking for more spaces like that. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jaime. Thank you all, guys. You've been wonderful, and it's such a great pleasure to have you guys to speak and share your work. Thank you, audience. I hope you really got something out of that. I hope to keep organizing this because it feels really good to bring all these people together, these bamboo people, and then trying to move the bamboo sector forward as a group. So I'll just end with one of my normal sayings. As long as the sun rises every morning, bamboo will rise. Go bamboo. Thank you all, and see you again soon. Thank you, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Blessed.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Grazie, gracias. Thank you.
Grazie.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Take
See you
care.
again soon.
Take care.